Yatala Labour Prisons and will be subject to monitoring and recording. If you do not wish to receive this call, please hang up now. If you have any concerns about a prisoner's well-being, please contact the prison immediately. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Hello, comrade.
Hello again, Mick. All right.
How are you going?
I'm all right. Yeah. So
Did you receive some paperwork from Rita or Aaron?
yes, I've read your story.
You can, if it's any use to you, you can use any part of that.
Yeah. I've put some of it on the channel. I've paraphrased it because Rita wanted to hold on to the book for now. So I've put your story out there, and it's got a couple thousand views across my platform already.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I wanted to ask you about, a lot of people are asking about the punitive and onerous conditions of solitary and the effects on mental health, and, if you could give some examples of people deteriorating back there, to illustrate, what you're going through, basically, the torture that's been imposed upon you.
Right. We used to have a lot of people being manhandled and physically restrained and this and that and everything else. There was stuff going on. They've recently, because they're rebuilding the prison, they put new cameras in, so they've even put cameras in the showers now. They say it's for our protection. No, it's not. It's to stop officers pushing prisoners into blind spots to manhandle prisoners, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Right. This now, G Division is now a human warehouse for mental health patients. Very rarely do you have any violence or anything like that that's happening over here anymore. It's now for mental health patients. You put in a smock, which is a canvas dress. You're given finger food. You don't have access to the yard or anything like that. The only time you get 10 minutes out of the cell for a shower, and that's it. And then you're locked in there. People have been treated like shit. They've been abused. They've been threatened. They're yelling and screaming. They come off the drugs, straight off the streets, and they're coming off drugs, and they're yelling and screaming and banging. And they just lock them up in the cell like you're in a concrete cell with two doors, like you got two security doors. One's a grill with perspex, the other one is a 4-inch steel concrete. You can't see out of it. You just remain there. The best they do is they may get a nurse over and just sort of, are you okay, blah, blah, blah. As long as they're not self-harming or anything like that. And if they are you've had people put their heads in the toilet to try and to flick themselves to break their necks.
Wow.
They've tried to. They don't wear. You don't get socks or jocks because people try and hang themselves in here. You are treated like shit. And I'm sorry to say, be crass, but you're treated like shit. You're given finger food. You don't get desserts. You don't get toast. You don't get bread. You get finger food. You're treated like shit. It's a human warehouse for mental health patients now. You got suicidal patients and everything like that. You're just stuck here because the prison infirmary, is too lazy to do their job and do observation on prisoners, so they'd rather put them in the cell here, and every cell has a camera in it. So every cell has a camera, and it's not only is it audio recorded, but it's also video recorded. So, There's six prisoners in a wing. There's 4 wings. At the most, G Division holds 26 prisoners.
Mm.
I am the only, sort of sad to say, I am the only prisoner at the moment held here who is sane. You know what I mean? The rest are, you know what I mean?
So everyone else is out of their mind, basically, or mental health problems, or coming off drugs.
But you've got them, and I call them softcocks, right? you got weak people who, you know what I mean, they're outside, right? They're bashing their wives, bashing their kids and everything like that, taking drugs. Instead of buying food for the kids to make sure they got breakfast in the morning before they go to school, they'd rather take drugs and everything like that. Then they do what they do outside making out they want to be gangsters. They go on to get under, when they're under arrest, they refuse bail. Then all of a sudden, when they refuse bail and they have to come to jail, all of a sudden they've got issues. I need to see the social worker. I need to see the ALO. I need to see the doctor. I've got issues. All of a sudden, they're a victim. And then because they've got issues with other people in the prison, they're Softcocks, and they go, oh, hang on, get me out of the unit. I'm not safe in here. So they come to G Division, and they use G Division as the hideout shelter.
Yeah.
And then, they're Softcocks, mate.
Yeah.
And then, right, they get prioritised, placed into different places around the jail, and then inevitably they come back here because they're hiding out here. And yeah, you know what I mean? But the conditions here are absolutely deplorable. It is the worst out of all the jails, you know what I mean? G Division is the worst place to be in as far as being treated as a human being or you know what I mean? You're not, you know what I mean? And the thing is, what people got to understand is some of these people that are coming in here, they may be your kids. They may be somebody you know. And you know what I mean? They get treated like shit. They come out worse, back on the street with vengeance and everything because they've been treated like shit, mate. You know what I mean? And all they want to do is get back at society. Do you know what I mean? There are people's children who come in here and they're being treated that way. Do you know what I mean? These people forget that we have family and friends, or we get back outside, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they don't think of that.
So how do you feel that other people, like seemingly much more prolific than you, have been allowed to the main, but, you know, you're seemingly the only dude that's been there on a long-term basis?
When I done this, right, because this is my third offence within a prison environment, but albeit I'll justify it till the cows come home.
Yep.
They're sex offenders, so who cares? You know what I mean?
Right.
I knew. You know, I'm guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm guilty. Yes, you know what I mean? Like, I knew I was going to be placed here for a while. Right. This is my third one, but I didn't think it'd be this long, and I didn't think of the politics. But for 28 years now, it's the politics. And my voice is not being heard, or they're not listening to anything that I say. When I leave here, I want to be able to rejoin the jail, live my life, find a place within the system and die old disgracefully and just have a little garden patch and a couple of birds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done my dues. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is that they're all no, usually, and we're not taking the risk and et cetera, but we can't keep you there like that. You know what I mean? And yet they're being dictated to by screws.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? How long? Like, I've been sentenced, like with this last one, with the copper, right? I was sentenced. I've got life with 28 years non-parole period. Guess what? I've done 28 years here in G Division. I wasn't sentenced to solitary confinement. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's why it's hard from both angles. You got the longest sentence ever for a single murder in South Australia's history, and then on top of that, you've done it all of it in solitary. So you're being hit from both sides.
Oh, there's other people who have been sentenced longer than me now, but the thing is, it's yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm being like I'm on solitary confinement. I'm on a punishment regime. Do you know what I mean? They either change my regime and make it like sort of a little bit more humane, or just give me a quality of life while I'm here,
mm-hmm.
or get me out. But they lie every time they come to me. They lie to me. Do you know what I mean? We're going to do this. They've never followed through. Like in 2007 with Judge Trish Kelly, they had the general manager on the stand, and she said, "Do you want this man out of G Division?" And she goes, "No." And they says, "Well, what do you plan to do with him? You cannot keep him in there under these conditions." And they says, "Oh, we're going to do this. Here's a plan." They put a plan in place. As soon as the court case was finished, that was it. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing. Do you know what I mean? And that's the only reason why I lost my court case last time, is because they came up with a plan. When the court case finished, done. And you know what? The plan was made up within 2 weeks, like 2 weeks prior to the ending of the court. No one in here in the jail knew about it. Anyway, I'm under arrest.
All right, Mick. Is it all right for people to write to you if they want? Would you like something like that?
Yes.
Yep, all right. I'll put your address out there for that, mate.
All right. I'll ring again tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Bye.